big welcome to all of you. So this is now my second video, and as you maybe saw the first video, I was giving you immediately a technique. I wasn't talking about Osho, I wasn't talking about the sutras, I wasn't talking about how Devi and Shiva, the relationship, where is this coming from? Where did Osho get it from, right? Now, I did that because Tantra means this begann, Bhairav Tantra means a technique to go through this consciousness, this worldly consciousness, into a higher consciousness, into, let's say, a non-dual place. Most teachings, they occupy themselves about why. And why is, we can discuss, why is it like this and why is it like that? One side says, well, it's like this, and the other says, no, it's like this. And so the discussion in philosophy continues forever, and one always wants to tell the other that he's right. And it's almost like black is saying to white, listen, you gotta be white. And black is saying to white, no, you gotta be white. Now, Tantra means, in this book, right, I just want you to see it one more time. Tantra says that we have to be more concerned about how. How do we get there? Not what and why, and discussing, kind of constantly the fact that maybe one side wants to again convey the other that it's better. So Tantra means technique, right? And this technique, this method, or even path, right? Then it becomes, first it's a technique, then it becomes a method, and then it becomes a path. Right? So these are the three stages that we go through in Tantra. Now, this Bhairava, begann, Bhairav, right? I really have a difficult time to say it. This begann, Bhairav Tantra sutras are a conversation between Devi and Shiva, or Shiva and Devi. Devi is a Bhairavi and Shiva is a Bhairav. Bhairav is that higher consciousness, is that part within us that when we unite within us, this higher consciousness, we can come to a place of non-duality, of higher consciousness, right? So this is where Osho made this book of, right, the Book of Secrets, 112 meditations to discover the mystery within. And last time I gave you immediately a technique. I gave you immediately the first meditation, and now more and more I will get into the details of what's written around. I mean, this book is, like you see, right, it's huge. It's like, yeah. So it's even for me, right? This is why I do it. I want to get deeper into this teaching. So I will give you the questions. Devi is asking Shiva. And it's very interesting because the big question is again, why is the female asking the male? And Osho is talking about that very, very clearly, that this conversation is not between two individuals. It's between the inside of you. You have the left, the feminine, and you have the right, the masculine. So my feminine side is talking to my right, my masculine side. And my feminine side is always asking questions. That's what women do, right? And men always kind of give, or within you, the male part is giving you the answer. This connection to the emptiness where the seeds are. You are full, right? The woman, the female is full, and the male is empty. And the male has this empty space around the earth, where the earth is filled with all possibilities. Now, in that empty space around the earth, it's not as empty. It's filled with possibilities. It's filled with all that we can create or imagine, or still we haven't gone to most of the places, right? We have created quite a lot, but it's still not what else we can create, right? And yes, we cannot invent the wheel, but in a way we can invent the wheel again and again, right? Recreate it, rework it, but in the end the wheel is that circle. So the female is always the receptive, the asking part, because she wants to know. She is already all the material, all the 5 elements, let's say 4, right? She's the earth, she's the water, she's the fire, and she's the air. And space is kind of masculine. So when she asks the question, the answer is always there. Have you had that feeling that when you ask a difficult question, the answer somehow appeared right away? And this is what's happening here, right? This conversation is about, we ask ourselves, and the answer comes out of space, out of a higher consciousness. And so this conversation is not between a male and a female. Now, when we go into a male and female, in general, a female is the one that gets penetrated, and he, the male, is the one that penetrates. When we get penetrated, the seed is put into the womb, and for the male, that's all he needs to do. He just needs to place the seed, and that's it. He has no more really a job to do. Now, a female, when she has the seed in her, it starts becoming part of her. It starts growing in her. And then eventually she gives birth to a new energy. And hence the female is so much more complex. Nevertheless, the male is as well holding the space for it to happen. So again, Devi and Shiva, or Shiva and Devi, are both this higher consciousness, are both a Bhairav, right? Shiva is a Bhairav, and Devi is a Bhairavi. And together they create a space beyond non-duality. And that's why she's asking, sitting on his lap, these questions, and he answers. Now here I want you to, again, hear the questions, right, that she is asking him. Just 1 second. Yeah. Devi asks, "O Shiva, what is your reality? What is this wonder-filled universe? What constitutes seed? Who centers the universal wheel? What is this life beyond form, pervading forms? How may we enter it fully, above space and time, names and descriptions? Let my doubts be cleared." Now, again, Tantra is you having an experience. It's not about, again, let's talk about it, let's discuss it. No, right away, let's have an experience, right? And this is what I did. I wanted you to have an experience right away with the first technique. And now I'm explaining more and more about the knowledge behind it, right? But when you have an experience, which we had hopefully in the first video, and I hope you were continuing with this technique, because the second one that I do now with you is built upon the first one. So if you have not seen my first video, please go to the first one and have a look. And it's also connected because the sun is in Aries right now, right? And I wanted for us to see that we are in this month in meditation, right? This is the meditation card, and the meditation here is saying, have a consciousness about the 4 elements within space, right? Here are the 4 elements, right? And are you sitting in the center, between the square, between the circle? Again, everything is square, circle, masculine, feminine. The masculine is framing the feminine, and the feminine is circling the masculine, right? It is constantly an exchange between these 2 energies. So those were, right, the question Devi asked Shiva. And so the first answer of Shiva was, "Radiant One, this experience may dawn between 2 breaths. After breath comes in, which is down, and just before turning up, which is out, the beneficence." Right? So we did the first meditation where I said to you, breathe in and notice that when you breathe in, you're full, there is a stop, a pause, and when you breathe out, again, there is a stop or a pause. And when we rest in that pause for a split second, it doesn't have to be long, then we allow the diaphragm to again initiate the in or the exhale. And it was this dropping into that space. It was about dropping into that stillness in between the in and the exhale. Now, the second answer is, as breath turns from down to up, and again as breath curves from up to down, through both these turns, realize. Now, the beautiful thing here is that before we were feeling it like it's like a highway, right? One goes up, the other one goes down. Now, The difference in the second one, and I will write everything down below in the description box so you can read it. It's a curve, right? It says there is a curve. So I will read to you just out of this second one. Watch the turning point between two breaths. It is the same, but with a slight difference. The emphasis is now not on the gap, but on the turning. The outgoing and ingoing breath make a circle. Remember, these are not two parallel lines. We always think of them as two parallel lines, breath going in and breath going out. Do you think that these are two parallel lines? They are not. Breath going in is half the circle. Breath going out is the other half of the circle. So understand this. First, breathing in and out creates a circle. They are not parallel lines because parallel lines never meet anywhere. Secondly, the breath coming in and the breath going out are not two breaths, they are one breath. The same breath which comes in goes out, so it must have a turn inside. It must turn somewhere. There must be a point where the incoming breath becomes outgoing. Why put such emphasis upon turning? Because Shiva says, right, as breath turns from down to up, and again as breath curves from up to down, through both these turns, realize. So, very simple, but he says, realize the turns and you will realize the self. Why the turn? If you know driving, you know about gears. Each time you change the gear, you have to pass through the neutral gear, which is not a gear at all. From the first gear, you move to the second, or from the second to the third, etc. But always you have to move through the neutral gear. That neutral gear is a turning point. In that turning point, the first gear becomes the second, and the second becomes the third. When your breath goes in and turns out, it passes through the neutral gear. Otherwise, it cannot turn out. It passes through the neutral territory. In that neutral territory, you are neither a body nor a soul. Neither physical nor mental. Because the physical is a gear of your being and the mental is another gear of your being. You go on moving from gear to gear, but you must have a neutral gear where you are neither body nor mind. In that neutral gear you simply are. You are simply in an existence, pure, simple, unembodied, with no mind. Good, so let's do it. Then again, sit back in your chair, both feet flat on the ground, and leaning back into the chair. Your hands either flat on top of your thighs, or you can also just literally place your right hand in the feminine and bring your thumbs touching. Now, when you actually place them, you can also switch, right? You can also have the right underneath the left and the thumbs touching. So let's start first with this one and then close your eyes with me. Again, feel your feet flat touching the floor and the floor touching your feet. Feel your sit bones touching the chair, and the chair touching your sit bones. Feel your back touching the chair and the chair touching your back. Then feel your right hand within the left. Feel the right thumb and the left thumb touching each other. And just notice, become aware, how does it feel? Then we switch. We will change. We bring the right palm underneath and the left palm into the right, both thumbs touching. And again, just feel. How does that feel to you? Make a decision and choose the one that feels good to you. Not right, but just simply good. Then go up to your nostrils and notice the breath streaming in, as such down, and now notice the breath streaming up, as such out. Feel again how it's streaming into your nostril, how it's going down into your navel, into the belly, and the belly's rising, and how it's going backwards. Your belly is pulling back, down, and the air is going out. Just feel, become aware again about these two in and exhales. Then notice after your inhale, the gap, the pause, and release the doing. Let your diaphragm do the breathing. Just hold for a few seconds, enjoying the fullness, until the diaphragm, this reflex, is again exhaling, and again release into this pause, into this moment, into the emptiness. And again, trusting that your diaphragm is making you inhale. Now, as you remember, we feel that the breath is moving down and moving up like a two-way street. What I would like you to do now is, when you inhale, imagine a circle from your nostril going down to your navel, like an arch. And when you exhale, that arch goes from the right side of your navel up again to the tip of your nose, to your nostrils. So you're not thinking going simply down and up, you are creating a circle. Inhale, the circle goes to the left, down into your navel. Exhale, the circle goes from the belly up to the nostril. Now become aware of the turning point, that pause when you inhaled to the exhale. Fully become aware of that turning point. You inhale into the belly. You combine and feel the turning. Exhale into the nostrils. Now we want to create a circle. And we want the moment where it's turning to be aware. In, again, that turning point, in that neutral gear, shifting from inhale, exhale into a circular energy. They become one. Continue. On your own to simply explore now this circular energy. Allow the turning point to be the moment you become neutral. And then you can continue to meditate 5, 10 to 15 minutes or longer. And if not, you just slowly open your eyes. And just become aware of what you're seeing. Again, you're coming out of the empty into the light, into the manifested. coming from the non-manifested into the manifested. So I will end this video now. I will not say much more. In the next video again we will do the third technique, but I will at the beginning again talk about the details of OSHO, of the sutras. Then I thank you so much for watching and being interested in meditation. I wish you a beautiful week. Until next week. Namaste.